Hi, I'm Christina.
And I'm Kim.
And welcome to Holmes County Library's DIY Crafts for the Uncrafty. Today, Kim is going to be showing us how to make a no-sew table runner and placemat.
This is the table runner that we're going to be showing you to make. And that is the placemat.
And what I love about it is you don't have to sew anything. All you need is an iron and some stitch witchery. So to make this craft, we have a yard of fabric which will make about 4 placemats and 1 table runner. And you'll also need stitch witchery. This is the major important product that you'll need, or something similar. And this is used for hems and other crafts. Basically, you use an iron and steam it basically with a damp cloth, and that's what'll help hold it in place so you don't have to sew at all, which is wonderful for people like us who can't sew. And then to finish off your cloth so that you don't have some raw edges on the material, we are using quilt binding. You could use a ribbon, but this is already nicely folded in half, and so you'll just use that to finish off your seams. And you'll also need your iron and a washcloth or damp towel made of cotton. So Kim, what are we going to do?
Okay, so first, after you have cut your fabric, you measure it to make sure that you have enough to do every piece that you want to do. You're going to cut and measure both the stitch witchery and your edging. And I like to start with the shorter edges of whatever project I'm working on. So what you'll do is you'll find the short edge. You're going to lay the fabric right onto the quilt binding up into the crease and just make sure that it looks nice. And I actually cut a little bit extra. There's a little bit of overhang on it. That'll come in handy, and I'll show you why that's handy in just a moment. So I've got my iron. It's nice and hot. It is on the highest setting that it has. And you're just going to, real quick, run it over the top of the fabric to get it warm. And then you're going to lay your stitch witchery right on the inside of it, cover it up, and lay your damp cloth on top of that. Now, you don't want to run the iron back and forth. What you're going to do is use a steaming press method. So you're just going to hold it on here for about 10 seconds and then move it to the next spot and do the same thing and just repeat. And this is the same process that you're going to use for every edge on here. But we're going to show you a trick to make the corners look nice. Okay, so that's the front of it, and I like to take the iron and just kind of press it without the cloth. It kind of aids the drying a little bit quicker. So, and then you're going to flip it over, and you're going to do the same on the back with the stitch witchery, which I need more of. And that's for the long piece, yeah. So it's really easy to cut, just like that. Nice and simple. And it's already hot from the previous pressing, so I'm just going to go straight into pressing it with the cloth again. Christina likes to watch me work.
Yes, it's a lot of fun to watch you do all the hard work. You probably should have said that the fabric that we're using for these projects is upholstery or kind of like home decor fabric as opposed to apparel fabric. So it has a little bit more weight to it.
Yeah. Like the stuff that your curtains are made of. Or
yes.
In fact. Okay, so there's one edge that is done. You can pull up on it a little bit and kind of test it, and it's on there. It's not coming off. So I'm going to flip it back over, and we're going to do the long edge. And before I do that, I'm going to cut the extra off right here. Since it's already bonded, it's already on there, it's not coming off. Just get as close to the placemat fabric as you can and cut it straight off. Then you have a nice even edge on it. Do that on both sides. this is where it just takes a little bit of time to get the corners to look nice. Christina and I had played around with this for a while before we found what works for us. But what you're going to do is in the corner where the two edges meet, you're going to do a miter corner. It's basically just folding down a corner of it to give it a nice corner edge. Here. I don't know if you can see this on that. Right here. It just gives it a nice finished look, and we do that on both sides. So I'm going to fold it down, and very, very carefully, I'm going to press it just a little bit. All right. And run over it with the iron again to get it warm. Place your stitch witchery underneath it. And you have to cut a little bit of the stitch witchery to the same angle that it already is, just so it's not hanging out, because you do not want to get that on your iron. Okay. So once you have that, you go again to your cloth and you press it. You can watch TV while you're doing this. You could listen to the radio, book on CD, because, you know, this is a library, so we encourage reading.
So what other projects have you used the stitch witchery for?
Oh, I've actually used it for a couple of team projects that we did, where we turned an old t-shirt into a handbag, and instead of sewing along the bottom, we used stitch witchery.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Will it hold like all kinds of fabrics, like denim and stuff like that?
Yes,
Or-
definitely. Hemming your pants, like if you buy a pair of pants at the store and they're too long and you don't like them dragging on the ground, like I don't.
Ooh, I could really use that because nothing fits me right.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, it's really great. It's a great product to use. I think crafting is the best way to use it personally, but
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to like make a whole garment of no sew.
So, repeating the process, you would flip it over again, do the stitch witchery on the back, and just keep going, pressing it and ironing it, and when you're done, it's going to look like this.
I think that looks almost like you bought it in the store. I like that.
Well, thank you.
So that's how you make a no-sew placemat, and you can use the same technique to make a no-sew table runner.